Senator Madigan.
Question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Trade and Investment, Senator Cormann. The Australian today announced that Mr Abbott and the President of China will sign a Memorandum of Understanding on an Australia-China Free Trade Agreement. This free trade agreement is likely to ensure 85% of Australian exports will enter China tariff-free. The 3% tariff on coke and coal China has imposed recently will possibly be removed, and the Foreign Investment Review Board threshold for foreign investment by privately held Chinese firms will increase to over $1 billion. Can the Minister outline what percentage of Chinese exports to Australia currently attracts no Australian tariffs?
The Minister for Finance representing the Minister for Trade and Investment, Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I thank Senator Madigan for that question. I can confirm for the Chamber that this morning the Prime Minister and President Xi announced the conclusion of negotiations for a free trade agreement after more than 10 years of negotiations. The Minister for Trade and Investment, Minister Rob, and his Chinese counterpart, Minister Gao, will later today sign a declaration of intent, which is, of course, an undertaking to prepare the text of the agreement for signature. The Prime Minister said already that the government will release details of the outcome soon. This is, of course, a historic agreement. It's a high-quality free trade agreement which will open significant opportunities for Australia and the world's second largest economy and our largest trading partner. It will ensure the competitiveness of our agriculture, industrial goods and manufacturing industries. It advances and protects access for our service providers and will attract greater investment into Australia, driving growth and creating jobs.
Pause the clock. Senator Madigan, a point of order.
Mr President, I asked what percentage of Chinese exports to Australia currently attracts no Australian tariffs.
Thank you, Senator Madigan. The Minister has 55 seconds left to answer the question, and I remind the Minister of the question. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. And of course, as part of the announcement made later today and subsequent announcements, the Minister for Trade and Investment will deal with all of these sorts of issues at the time when the government is in a position to release the formal details of the agreement that has been reached. The free trade agreement to be announced today, of course, complements free trade agreements that the government has already concluded.
Minister, point of order, Senator Madigan.
Thank you, Mr President. Senator Cormann, it's a pretty simple question. What percentage of Chinese exports to Australia currently attract no Australian tariffs? Surely to God the government knows that.
I'll remind the Minister of the question. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I appreciate that question. I'm, of course, only the Minister representing the Minister for Trade and Investment in his chamber. I will take that part of the question on notice and provide an answer to Senator Madigan, but I would point out that together the free trade agreements in relation to Korea, Japan and China cover 39% of Australia's total trade, which is, of course, a very significant proportion of our total trade.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Madigan, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Considering that the 3% tariff on coke and coal was only introduced recently, does the government believe it is a possibility that the tariff was predominantly only introduced as a bargaining chip?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Our focus as a government and led by Minister Rob was to achieve the best possible deal for Australia in our national interest. Minister Rob has done an outstanding job over the last 12 months, not only in successfully concluding free trade agreements with Japan and South Korea, but also in now reaching a successful conclusion in relation to a free trade agreement with China. I'm not a commentator on what happens in these negotiations along the way, except to say that the government is very, very pleased with the deal that has been able to be achieved, which is a significant advance when it comes to trade opportunities for Australia in what is, of course, one of our most important markets. More trade means more jobs. More trade means stronger economic growth here in Australia, and today really is a very good day for Australia.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Madigan, a final supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Can the minister outline what percentage of foreign investment from China in Australia is by solely privately owned companies and what percentage is from state-owned companies?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I take that question on notice and provide Senator Madigan with an answer.
Thank you.